All right, so let me ask you something. Have you been losing and regaining the same 5 pounds on your weight loss journey and can't really build any type of momentum? If so, stick around because I'm going to tell you what I discovered was the culprit in my own weight loss journey and what I did to correct it. Now, if you're new here to the channel, I'm Ursula. I had VSG weight loss surgery back in 2014. I lost 100 pounds. I got pregnant. Life happened. I regained most of that weight. In 2022, I found myself at my highest weight post-op, which was 225 pounds. In 2023, I started the 75 Hard Challenge at 218 pounds. I really cleaned up my eating. I counted macros. I stopped eating processed sugar. I incorporated running and strength training into my fitness routine. And I went on to lose 70 pounds in 9 months. After losing the 70 pounds, I had tummy tuck skin removal surgery because it was impacting my workouts. And then immediately after the tummy tuck, I started marathon training. And in the course of that marathon training, I lost a total of 16 additional pounds. So for my latest weight loss journey, I've lost a total of approximately 90 pounds. And one of the things that I found as I look back over my weight loss journeys is that I always started off my journeys doing the same thing. And I've had plenty of weight loss journeys. I told you about the weight loss journey, where I had VSG over 10 years ago, and then my most recent weight loss journey. But I've had so many weight loss journeys in between there. And I started them off the same way. I would be ready to go. I'm going to lose this weight. I would set a weight loss goal. And, again, I was like 225 pounds. And so I'm going to set a weight loss goal. My weight loss goal is going to be 150. And 150 was actually my original weight loss goal when I had VSG over 10 years ago. And I never actually got to it. But I set a goal, 150 pounds. Okay. Now, in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, you got 75 pounds to lose. That sounds like a lot. But okay, we got it. We're going to do this. And then, of course, now that I have a weight loss goal, well, I have to weigh myself, right? Because I have to know if I'm making progress towards that goal. So I would start the journey the same way. Set a weight loss goal and then daily weigh-ins. I would get on the scale every single day. I would start the morning off, get on the scale, see what that number is. If I don't like the number, well, okay, let me get on the scale again because that number wasn't right. So maybe if I get on the scale again, it'll change. Oh, it didn't change. Okay, well, maybe the floor right here is a little, the house settled a little bit. The floor is uneven right here. Let me move the scale to the other side of the bathroom and let me get on the scale again. And this was constant. I would do this every single day. And that number on the scale dictated my mood, for the day. If the number was, down, then, of course I was happy. Yes, I'm gaining momentum. I'm doing what I need to do. I'm going to get that weight loss goal. And if the number was up, then it was like, man, like, I'm really, I'm putting in this effort and I'm not seeing any progress. And it was the same thing. And it's funny because, even though, my mood was based on what the number said, my actions based on that were kind of unpredictable. So you would think that if the scale went up, I'd be like, okay, I really need to focus. I really need to, dial in what I'm doing. I need, a little more exercise, a little less sugar. But, no, sometimes, the scale would go up and I'd be like, okay, well, there's that, let me go eat something, or let me go, soothe with a candy bar or ice cream or whatever. And the same thing, though, would also happen sometimes when I got on the scale and I had lost weight. I'm down 5 pounds. A candy bar won't hurt. A bag of M&Ms won't hurt. That Reese's, one Reese's cup won't hurt me. And then I find myself, a few days later, I've regained the 5 pounds that I actually had lost. And so this was just a constant cycle with my weight loss journeys, and I would do it every single time. And what was the result of doing that? I would regain the weight. I just could never gain any real momentum. it was like I would lose 5 pounds and then I gained the 5 pounds, and then I lose the 5 pounds and then I gained the five. And it was like, I was starting at the same place all the time. And so this time around on my weight loss journey, I decided to make a change. And one of the things I took a real hard look at was, my past weight loss journeys, and was like, okay, what can I do differently? Because, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. And so I was like, I got to do something different because what I've been doing before has not been working. So this time around with my weight loss journey, I didn't even set a weight loss goal. I was like, nope, not doing it. We're not setting a weight loss goal. It just doesn't matter. Like, I'm just going to focus on doing the work. I'm not going to set a goal. I'm going to let my body just kind of land, like wherever it needs to land based on my efforts. And so that's how I kind of approached it. And okay, now that I don't have a weight loss goal, well, I don't have a need for the scale either. And so I put the scale away. So the day that I started 75 Hard, I didn't even get on the scale, which was like mind blowing for me. Like, it was a complete 180 from things that I had done in the past. I didn't even get on the scale day one of the challenge. So when I say I was 218 pounds when I started 75 Hard, I got that number from the doctor's office the day before. I went to the doctor's office and they weighed me. I was 218 pounds. My doctor was fussing at me because I had no discipline in what I was eating. She was like, you could lose the weight if you were eating what you were supposed to eat, basically. And so that is why I started the 75 Hard challenge. I didn't start it to lose weight. I started it to gain some discipline and get some control over what I was eating, because that's what she was fussing at me about. And so I didn't even get on the scale day one. And that is so unlike me, because I was so accustomed. I was so conditioned to get on that scale. I was so conditioned every single day, and sometimes even in the afternoon, but at least in the morning time, first thing, undress, get on the scale, see what it says, weigh yourself a few different times, and go about your day. In the evening, I would have done the same thing. But at least in the morning time, it was like clockwork. I was doing it all the time. And so this time around, I didn't even get on the scale day one. I said I was going to use the starting weight from the day before, and I just didn't care. I really wanted to emotionally disconnect from the number on the scale. I felt like that was a habit that I had to break, and I had to break it for good. And so I didn't set a weight loss goal, and I did not get on the scale every day. And those were the two habits that I broke. Now, once the challenge started, I did get on the scale about every 2 to 3 weeks or so, just because I was documenting my progress on the challenge. And so I did want to get on the scale to kind of see, where I was, just for documentation purposes. But I will tell you that I would get on the scale, and I would get on the scale one time. Get on the scale. Oh, there's the number. Cool. And then I would take the scale and I would put it away again. I put it in the linen closet. And so I was so emotionally disconnected from that number. Like, it just, I would remind myself before I got on the scale. And I do this even today. I would remind myself, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what the number says. It is a piece of data. So now I look at that number on the scale as a piece of data. It doesn't define me. It doesn't control me. It doesn't dictate my mood. And it doesn't dictate my eating for the day. Like, it doesn't make me emotional and make me want to eat, because I'm an emotional eater, and I don't think that ever goes away. But it just doesn't have that control over me anymore. And so now I can look at that number on the scale, and I use it as the information that it is. I analyze that number as the information that it is, and I make adjustments based on that number. Now, again, even right now, I've lost approximately 90 pounds. I still don't have a weight loss goal. And I've, lost this weight. I've been able to keep it off. And, I'll tell you, the scale goes up and down. And I am perfectly okay with that. I ran a marathon, and in the course of marathon training, 18 and a half weeks, I lost 16 pounds. Well, what do you think is going to happen once you stop marathon training? Like, I'm not running these excessive miles anymore like I was before. And so I'm going to put on, a few pounds. And now, in addition to that, I'm also strength training more, focusing more on building muscle. Of course, I'm going to put on some pounds. So even now, when I get on the scale and I see that I'm up a few pounds from that lowest weight, I have to remind myself, but your lowest weight was at the height of marathon training. Be for real. That's probably, that was probably a false low for you. Like your body is doing, let your body do exactly what it needs to do. And that's exactly what I'm doing. My weight is a reflection of my efforts. And so as long as I continue to, stay on my eating and track the foods that I'm eating, I still eat clean-ish, and I call it clean-ish, which is whole foods most of the time, staying away from the processed sugar, because that was key. That was key to me being able to lose the weight. Was staying away from the processed sugar when it comes to nutrition, continuing to be consistent with my running, continuing to be consistent with my strength training. And when I'm doing those things, my body naturally reacts to that. And so, if I get on the scale and I'm up a few pounds, and I know, okay, are you tracking like, you should be tracking? It has, sugar. Is sugar sneaking back into your diet somewhere? Are you drinking your calories somewhere? Now, instead of being emotionally tied to that number and it making me want to eat, now it's just a piece of data, and it doesn't drive an emotion with me anymore. It's very transactional. I get on the scale, it produces a number, and then I take that number and decide what actions I need to take based on it. But it doesn't drive my emotions anymore. And that was so key for me in this weight loss journey. So if setting a weight loss goal and then getting on the scale every day is something that you've been doing and you can't seem to gain momentum on your weight loss journey, just take a look at that and decide whether or not that could potentially be the culprit. Take the scale and put it away. Put it somewhere where it's inconvenient. Put it somewhere where you have to really make an effort to get it and pull it out. Or you know what? Don't even do that. Put it somewhere and leave it there. I put mine in the linen closet, and I knew where it was, but I was just determined that I was not going to get on it. Like I knew that I needed to break free. And once I broke free from the emotional bond that I had with that scale, that is when my weight loss journey changed. So if my story resonates with you, the setting a weight loss goal, daily weigh-ins, can't gain momentum, losing and regaining the same 5 pounds, leave me a note in the comments. And I think what you'll find is that you're not alone. What I think you'll also find is that other people are also ready for real change. So if this is you, leave me a note in the comments and let me know what you plan to do differently to regain momentum on your weight loss journey. If this video has been helpful to you, take a moment and give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed yet, take a moment, hit the subscribe button. I would love to have you here as part of the community. I wish you well on your weight loss journey. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video.